Oh, hey guys, we're live. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Typical Skeptic podcast. And today, an episode of Prime Declassified, as we welcome my really good friend, and I say really good friend, Eve Howard, and it's her birthday. So everybody in the chat wish Eve a happy birthday. You know, I feel really honored that she wants to come, spend a little bit part of her birthday with me. I mean, obviously she has family and stuff like that too, but she takes an hour out to come and spend with us, which that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? That means a lot to me. And I was a little bit late because I'm not feeling too well. I got some kind of thing going on with my chest. It feels like it's like some kind of I don't know. It feels like my chest is like starting to get raw, and I have like a bad cough. But I don't know. But like a little bit more about my guest. Like Eve Howard is a SSP Black Ops survivor, multidimensional energy healer, and founder of Rising Spirit Reiki. Carrying on her proud Ojibwe ancestry, Eve bridges earth wisdom with cosmic memory, helping people reclaim soul fragments, clear trauma, and reconnect their lineage. Tonight on her birthday, Eve dives deep into birthday ritual magic, ancestral healing, and performs a live reading for me, along with a healing activation for the audience. And with all that said, I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show. Eve, thanks so much for coming back on. And yeah, I know I already told you twice, but happy birthday.
That's okay. Well, I hope you feel better. I'm not really seeing like anything, like we were just talking about. I don't think do you have covert?
Yeah.
Covert. You don't have covert. But yeah, so thanks for having me on. It was really weird because yesterday it was like I was like led like everything up until my life. I'm proud to say that I'm 53 years old today, and I don't have a problem telling my age. And
You're not that much older than me. I'm 46, so we're close in age, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
was
so I was gonna say, what year were you born? 74? 74?
73.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. When I was born, the occupation at Wounded Knee was happening in the Dakotas with American Indian movement. So I had this little nickname right away from my family. I was called the Wounded Knee Baby. So that's just kind of like a little trivia about me. I am enrolled in the White Earth Band of Ojibwe. Let's see. And I know, usually for birthdays, people like ask for, donations to other things. But this year I've just been doing everything backwards. So I decided to gift others for my birthday. So when you asked me, you're like, hey, like, did you want to come on? And we were discussing it, and you were like, oh, Friday. And I was like, well, that's my birthday. Well, at the time I was still kind of, celebrating the whole birthday thing. But yesterday I ended up, it was like I was being led to do this 7th generation ancestral healing for myself. And it was, I cleared all my chakras and a lot of the trauma that was stored, because we store our trauma in our DNA, and it was like stored in like all of my chakras. So it was like letting this, this healing come in, universal healing. And I'm a Usura Reiki master. So it was just getting all of this out, and it was like I can only do it when I'm ready to do it, for these healings or these types of things that I it's like I'm just led to do it. So it's a very intuitive healing, and I needed to clear a lot out. Being indigenous, we all have generational trauma. And for the Ojibwe, they say, it lasts for 7 generations, which, it has also kind of resonated with a lot of other people too, that work with trauma and realizing that you can go back that far. So with being a healer, I can heal anything. I mean, I've done, hands-on for, my vehicles. I've done hands-on for my animals, my pets, people, situations. you can actually go back, and they say it's not really like time traveling, but it's like healing the past. And so yesterday I was like, I'm going to heal this, this 7 generations worth of generational trauma that I have been carrying around. And it feels like the biggest weight, to be carrying this around, and trying to do a lot of the shadow work, doing the healing. It gets to be a lot. It gets to be very tiring. So yesterday I did that and cleared everything out, all the trauma that was associated with the chakras. And afterwards, I was shaking, like literally, like shaking my hands. I couldn't stop shaking. I felt like maybe my blood sugar kind of went and dipped down a little bit because I can be hypoglycemic. And I don't have a machine to check my blood sugars because I'm not diabetic anymore. I used to be a type 2, but I've stayed underneath the 7, the the line for making sure that you don't have to get put on medication, have checked. I've been underneath that. So yeah, it was crazy. I was cold too. And usually I run really warm. And I had to come out and I had to put on some really fleecy pants and some thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. High Vibe 8899. Thank you, just waking up. I appreciate that. And I put on my most comfy neurodivergent clothes. I made a cup of coffee, and I made sure to make it with honey and my favorite creamer. And oh, excuse me, I don't know what that was, but wasn't a hiccup or a burp, but it was weird. There was just like this feeling of like I just dropped like 100 pounds, and not carrying all this trauma around. I just felt so amazing yesterday. And that was kind of like a really strange thing because I didn't sleep very well the night before. So I was like, well, you know what? I'll just lay down and I'll take a little nap because, I was just advised not to, do a lot of things, do any healings, do any readings yesterday. And it was like it was also validated that this was something that I had agreed to do right before this particular birthday. I don't know why. But it was kind of like everything was leading up to this point. And it was really amazing. I could just feel like my aura was just like, everything is just like pulsating. Like even the light that I have up here for that, for the show, it's I can just see it pulsating. I was like taking video of it because I was like, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me thinking that and it's not really going bright and dark and bright and dark.
What I want to ask you about is, do you get affected by Mercury retrograde? Like, I guess like people are saying we're in Mercury retrograde, and I guess people can have like tech issues or problems with other people or like I mean, do you tend to get bothered by that, or you seem like you're pretty like, I don't know, like you seem like you're pretty solid, like you wouldn't get too I get bothered by it for sure, but I don't know, yeah.
Well, it's like learning to, with Mercury retrograde to, be very cautious to, kind of study up on it and what you're not supposed to do and what you're advised to do during these times. I think it's Mercury retrograde. You're not supposed to like get involved into like a lot of contracts, signing, leases for this or that, or signing any type of paperwork. I think it is. And or the moon placement or anything like that, because I do a lot of I get a lot of energy at certain times, and I've been trying to keep track with like the moon placement and if it's affecting me energy wise. So but I mean, it's so hard to tell. I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm definitely not an astrologist.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I just know like when things seem out of whack, it seems like like something's going on, but I usually get affected by the full moon really a lot, and I get affected by Mercury retrograde for some reason, but like So yeah, one of the things you were going to talk about was birthday rituals.
Mhm.
Do you want to get into that a little bit? Like, I guess, like,
Yes. Um, I think somebody was asking me, they're like, "Oh, what are you gonna do for your birthday?" And I'm like, "I'm not gonna do anything for my birthday." And I think it was my daughter, and she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "I don't know." I mean, when you were a kid or when you were younger, it was almost like a second Christmas. But as you get older, you realize, it kind of feels kind of like when you think about it, you get up and um you have like a party or something and get together and there's cake, and I don't know, I'm not a very religious person, but I mean, I don't know, it seems kind of funny, and then the candles, burning the candles, singing the same song every year for every person. And
mm,
I mean, is it aging us? I mean, that's kind of what I was asking yesterday after this, healing, this integration. It was like, is this is this something we shouldn't be doing? I mean, because you think about it, they talked about humans living to, 500, 800 years old. I mean, they talked about it in the Bible. I've never read the Bible, but this is just what people tell me. I'm sorry. And I'm not trying to front and pretend like I'm this, religious person, because I'm really not. I'm just kind of pulling up things that kind of like click with me and be like, oh, so are we supposed to live that long? I mean, why are we only, and they were like, oh, well, the average age is going up because of technology. And it was like, well, geez, it seemed like, you know, they lived longer back in the day, and but yet they're saying that the age is going up, but it's like still like 70s, like 60s,
yeah,
and
yeah,
women
it's
live
weird.
longer than men.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Women,
No.
I don't know. It's like I don't know why that is, but that's how it is in my family too. Like women definitely live longer than the men. Like that. I don't know if
Mhm.
it's like that. Like, yeah, like is that pretty common then? Women live longer than men. Is that like?
That's what it says, when you like look up the stuff, and they try to say, men are stronger, but women can tolerate pain more, and they kind of give a differentiating of the masculine and the feminine, and like, obviously women can handle pain a lot better than men because, they're the ones that carry life and give birth. you know uh, um I'm definitely not putting any gender down or trying to bring another gender up. I'm just saying, this is all stuff that they've been studying and researching for years. um I don't like to get into, because I don't want anyone to, like, get into like arguing over some of the stuff that they've actually looked into. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it's but I never really thought about that though, about the birthday rituals. Like, I guess they do kind of age us, right? Like, it's almost like, was it done like that on purpose? So we would think about our age every year. We would think about that we were getting 1 year older and one step closer towards, like, you know, what, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, I thought about that this year because I turned 46, and like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, I can't believe I'm 46 years old. Like, I don't know where the time went. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't know where, I don't know. It seems like time's speeding up too. Do you get that as well?
It does. I've seen a lot of people like talking about doing like taking an analog clock and, setting it to go exactly, with their phone time, and then within 24 to 48 hours the time is not the same anymore. I mean, but that could be differences, could be batteries, there's so many variances, that would affect that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's interesting though, for sure. Yeah. Like, and then the one thing you wanted to kind of touch on was the ancestral healing. Where did you want to go with that? That sounds really interesting as well.
Well, been dealing with a lot of young generation, and this is all coming up, and I did some the Ojibwe prophecies, the Anishinaabe prophecies, and they talked about the 7 fires. And each fire that was lit would bring us closer to they like to call it like a reset. I mean, though certain words can set off certain fear factors, and that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to I'm here for people to go out and do their own research. And when people say things, you go out and you do your own research. It's not up to someone to hand you a link or to sit there and put in a lot of energy for explanations. When if something catches your attention, you to go out and to look it over, check it out, find out for yourself. I mean, that was like what we did in school with like a lot of our mentors and our teachers. They always kind of pushed us towards go out there and do the research yourself, go and look for the facts, go find everything. It's not just like handing everything over to everybody, because everybody's path is very different. Everybody's mission is different, and that's what we're all here to understand, that we're all different. And we're not supposed to be alike. We're not supposed to look alike. We're not supposed to I don't know. That's what I think. I'm sure that there are other people out other people out there that say different, but that's the reason why there's belief systems. You're free to believe whatever you'd like to believe.
I was muted. I guess it's good to like not like buy into those like belief systems, right? Like, or like try to not like try not to engage with too many different belief systems. Or what would you, or do you think we're kind of prone to have? I guess we're kind of prone to have them. I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, they said it was like when I went into treatment, it'll be 10 years this year, for alcohol and prescription drugs. And one of the things that, they told me is, that exactly what you said, but, it's processing trauma. I mean, anything that can cause you to feel stagnant, to feel stuck, to feel like, is there something more out there for me than just what, this routine that I am so used to, whether it be work, home life, friends, significant other, you feel, sometimes you just feel stuck. I'm not saying this is meaning for everybody. I'm just saying that, for some people, we've come to this energy that is, affecting us, well, like I said, I can't say us, but affecting certain people. And it's pushing a lot of people, to process, all of this, trauma or negativity that is holding us back, that is keeping that stagnant, that energy.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah. And if you guys have any questions for Eve, and how have you been with like memories? Are you coming back? Do you still get like SSP memories or anything like that?
Me? I'd probably say very rarely. I opted, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, you can't leave, but I mean, that's the thing, if you believe that, then you believe the lie that you don't have the sovereignty and the consent. And I do, I'm not here to perform for anybody. And I feel like I'm a very independent person. And, I had issues with being told what to do. And, a lot of people are like, well, those are the kind of people that they look for, but up to a certain degree, it's like any type of program like that, you're going to come across people that are like, I have oppositional defiant disorder. So, that could be one of the reasons why I don't like to take orders, or be ordered around, why I have my own business. as
Yeah,
compared to working for somebody else, making them wealthy, while I struggle to, pay my bills and pay my utilities and put food on the table.
that's a good point. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. I have a problem taking orders from people too. I'm the same way. I feel the exact same way. Like, they don't make it easy for you to be successful in the world. Like they just I don't know. Like it's yeah. 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 I'm trying to. Was thinking, where did you want to go next? Did you say you wanted to do the reading or what? Or
Yeah. I
we
was
can
like,
even
I
take
put it
some.
together here. And
Yeah.
I got the cards. Doo-doo. All right. So, Robert, I know it's like my birthday, but I had wanted to, do a little reading to kind of give you a gift and gift you with something, meaningful. So I pulled like 9 cards, and I used the Rider-Waite deck, which is like the normal standard tarot deck. Well, majority of people think that, but there are other people that think otherwise. So, and I did this for the 2026 year, or the remaining year of 2026. And what came through is like actually very structured, and it's not chaotic. It kind of looked like it at first, but after you start looking at the cards, you realize it's developmental. So your year opens with the 3 of Cups, and that's like community, collaboration, shared momentum. So you're not really you're not isolated in 2026. There's like a bunch of support around you. There's something worth acknowledging, or celebrating, which is what they're doing. They're, the cups are up, they're celebrating. So right next to that came up the Page of Pentacles. And this is for like a new seed, a new idea, a new study, a new, you're a new baby to, kind of watch grow. Like something that's like practical and grounded, that has like long-term potential. So it's like, it's a humble energy, but it's also promising. You're building something this year. So emotionally, though, I pulled the Queen of Cups reversed, and that suggests like almost like an internal pressure, possibly in overwhelm feeling, or holding feelings in, to either process them, um, or holding feelings, basically. And one of your growth edges in 2026 is emotional regulation and clarity, and Cups is all about emotions. So this came up, and this is one of the reasons I don't, most people get really upset and freaked out, but this card is not bad. This doesn't mean what it says on there. What it is when it's upright, it means something different. When it's reversed, which it came up reversed in your reading, it's a transformation. It suggests possibly resistance to change, and it's knowing something has run its course, but you're hesitating to release it. So, and right next to that is the 2 of Pentacles reversed. And about this card, you see the person is like juggling. So right away, that's they take it on too much. They're juggling, too much, trying to maintain balance while carrying something that's already out of season. So then I pulled and then for this card, for the previous card, I did wanted to pull something because I didn't want you to like worry about that death reverse card. So I pulled a clarifier card from like the shamanic oracle cards. I have these beautiful shamanic indigenous oracle cards, and I got the medicine wheel reversed. And the medicine wheel represents like cycles, seasons, natural timings. Reversed, it suggests being out of alignment with like a cycle, either holding on to something past its season, or trying to move forward without properly closing something. So paired with that, the death reversal card, this isn't about chaos. It's like about timing. There's a chapter that's already completed in your life. If you resist that natural ending, the imbalance shows up as like stress or overextension. But here's what's powerful, though. This was an amazing pull. This is the world. And I pulled it as the next card, and that's completion right there. That's graduation. That's leveling up. So the next chapter becomes available. The success becomes available. The expansion is there. So it's just waiting for the old cycle to close out cleanly, and then you keep moving forward. That stagnation, disperses.
I got a question. Like, how do I know what the old cycle is? Like, well, how do I know what the like? I mean, what do you think my mind will just tell me? Like, or like I'll somehow it'll come to me or something like.
Well, in reading this, you should kind of have a little idea of what it is. But when I finish it, we can also too afterwards, pull more cards too to kind of get an idea of what that is. But judging by the shaman oracle cards, it's telling you that there's a cycle that is gone. It's stagnation. It's not going anywhere. It's not moving anymore. Yeah. And so, change is inevitable. Excuse me. Coffee is making me want to hiccup. Where was I? Okay, I had the world card. The Three of Wands reversed. That came up for next. And this is opportunity. Opportunity may be present. But there may be like hesitation about stepping fully into it, which can kind of also be like, a confidence type thing, so maybe it's a confidence builder. The lesson here is, if something is there that you want goal wise, are you going to push back those feelings and step forward? Okay, so after that, I pulled another positive card. And this card is like the star. Sorry, my light is like glaring on it. This is alignment, authentic healing, hope restored. It suggests that once you allow this transition, things recalibrate beautifully. Things just click, just fall into place for you. And then your final card is the Eight of Swords reversed. So there's not so. And this is like liberation. This is mental freedom. You see that they're tied, they're bound. Their mouth is covered, and you're breaking out of a pattern that once felt restrictive. So by the end of 2026. You're thinking differently, freer, less boxed in. So I guess if I were to like summarize this reading, you start like the year supported and you're building something, new. You're facing like a necessary release that you may initially you might resist. And it's not because, I think it has more to do with like a confidence in trusting, and these are lessons that we have to learn. We have to learn to be able to trust. We have to be able to, be confident in making these decisions because there are decisions. I guess that's why a lot of people kind of cling to that old habit of, being too hesitant to step forward and make a decision because they're worried about failure. Or, they're so worried about failure that they're not willing to grow, to step outside of that comfort level, because if they make a mistake, everyone's going to be like, oh, well, you really messed up. But, how are you going to learn anything if you don't mess up?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not perfect. I've messed up quite a bit.
That's what they say
My
we're here
life.
for, right? Eve, like they want
Right.
they say that we're here because we're like, like we're here to learn lessons, like if right or we're yeah. Or
So, okay. Okay.
yeah. I don't know.
So you face basically a necessary relief that you may initially resist. That's typical. People do that. I mean, it's the same thing, where you always see it in movies where they're like, they have to jump on 1, 2, 3. It's really hard to do that. 1, 2, 3, trust. I mean, human nature sometimes is not built for, fully trust. Not only in the universe, but within. So I guess if you're just gonna like honor the timing of the cycle and let whatever it is, close properly, you end the year leveling up. You end the year aligned and mentally freer than when 2026 started. So 2026 isn't about something happening to you. It's about whether you allow the seasons, to change. And growth. It's scary. I mean, it is. It's really scary.
Wow, that makes a lot. It's so like I'm trying to think but the death card, like I am still a little bit worried about that. Like, and it was reversed. Like, do you think that means that like that just means that like I'm coming to an end of a cycle? Is that kind of what you said? Like,
If it's upright, you're coming to an end of a cycle. If it's reversed, you're kind of, you're hesitant. You're kind of dragging your feet on, should I do this? It could represent this for me, which is positive. But, if it goes wrong, or maybe I make the wrong decision, is it going to blow up in my face? Is it going to be, just
you know what?
another couple steps
That is
forward and then
happening
all the
right
way
now.
back?
Yeah, that is happening with me too. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry. I
No,
was.
you're good.
Yeah, you got me excited, but the way it's happening is it's happening in the form of like one of my relations, or like not one of my relationship with the female that I happen to like. I think I love her. I don't know. I mean, like, it's a distance relationship, so it's like another one of these where you live 1,000 miles away from the person. And, you know what I mean? I mean, it's because of what I do and like the people that I communicate with. You know what I mean? Like, I'm obviously going to meet a woman from this community because, like, that's, I don't know. I mean, like, I can't go date a normal woman. You know what I mean? Because, like, I mean, not that these women aren't normal. You know what I mean? Like a normie.
Totally
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so I don't know. Like, like part of me, like, has been thinking, like, am I doing the right thing, or should I, I don't know if like I should make, like I should pursue it, or if I should have it come to an end, or but like I'm bad with walking away from things, but I don't think I want it to come to an end either. I really don't. You know what I mean? Like I like this girl a lot. Like I like her like a super lot. Like like I don't know. Plus I don't want to give away too much information because I don't want people to know who it is. But like I mean, but like like I've known her for a while. I'll just say that.
Well, I know with one of the reasons, the reading after I laid the cards out and stuff, the one thing that I didn't really see was a lot of, focus on the love portion of your life at this point in this year. A lot of it, you're going to be just faced with, development and doing this, whatever it is that you're planning on doing. I'm assuming it's probably something to do with the show. I know we were talking about that before. I think it was like yesterday or the day before. And I was like, yeah, Rob, don't forget all of us when you become famous, to just keep that humility, that humbleness that makes you. because so many people change when they come into a spot where they can advance and whatever it is that they're doing, whether
Yeah.
it's being a content creator, a podcaster, a CEO of your own business, or whatever, just stay you, but
And
the better version of you.
you're right. I don't ever want to become some like stuck up, conceited asshole that treats people badly or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I just
Uh-huh.
want to be, like I think being poor. I mean, I'm not, I grew up middle class, but like not having a lot of money and kind of growing up where I did, I think taught me values in a way that where like it taught me how to treat people. And I always say treat people like how you would want to be treated. You know what I mean? Like that's
Exactly.
that's that's the it's like live by the sword, die by the sword type stuff. I don't
That's
know.
exactly what my mother taught me. She's like, treat people the way you want to be treated. And that's something that just stuck with me. I know when we laid her to rest, that was one of the things that I stood up and I talked about was, some of the things that she told me that just kind of stuck with me throughout my whole life, and that was like one of them. So I mean, I've kind of balance that out a little bit. And, I'm going to treat people the way I want to be treated, but I'm also going to give them the same energy that they're giving me. I mean, so if they're like, oh, how are you? How's it going? The last time we talked, you said this and how's that going? So I mean, they're paying attention, to a previous conversation. They were invested in it, so I mean, invest that same energy. But if they're like, oh yeah, well, and you're like, oh, I mentioned it last time, and like, yeah, I don't remember that. I mean, well, they're obviously not too invested. So I mean, don't put too much into that. There has to be a balance of energy there.
Yeah, yeah. I just put up your
Oh.
podcast on the screen so like people can subscribe to it and stuff like that. My friend, my moderator Jason, he put that in there so people could follow you and stuff like that. Yeah, like
Thanks, Jason.
yeah. But we're
Um,
streaming on Eve's channel today too, guys. So like so please go subscribe to her. Like and like yeah, like I mean like you've been a really good friend to me over the years, Eve. Like like I mean like
mhm.
like you're I can tell you're a really good person. I can tell you were raised the right way. You know what I mean? I can tell you have like really good morals and values. you know
My parents were both in the residential boarding schools, the indigenous boarding schools. So, they were brought up by, the priests and the nuns that were heading these schools. So, yeah, it was rough because they were so used to being institutionalized, in having a life like that. eh, my mom was always on the go. I mean, she was a definite go-getter. She was going to school full time, taking 12 to 14 credits, and then she was working like 30 to 40 hours a week on top of that. And then, she had us kids and stuff. So
yeah. And
she was a
do you
hard
feel
worker.
like that like the being in the residence the res schools and stuff like that or do you think that or the Catholic schools or whatever like that was like an ability for you to sorry guys I'm having trouble like conveying my ideas tonight. I think it's because I'm getting sick, but like do you think that was like something that like was able to enable them to use you in the programs easier or something like that?
Yeah, actually, I've been saying it. I haven't been able to get any proof in some of this. But earlier today I saw something, I do believe maybe it was on Instagram or something. And it was like actually someone had written this down. I'm trying to find it, but I was doing like a whole bunch of other stuff too. Um, and it was like about the residential boarding schools and what they really thought that they were. Um, and quite possibly that they were kind of what the early, you know, ep
Oh, Epstein
Berenstain.
Island. Yeah, Epstein.
Yeah. I don't know what I can say, so I'm trying to but what does this thing said was, do you now realize what was really happening in the government? Native American boarding schools were in fact early Epstein Islands. And a lot of these too, I also feel were part of like the MK programming as well. You know, they were looking for specific students or bloodlines that had abilities. You know, and I mean, my dad was in the military. He went out of school and joined the military when he was 17. And, you know, he was a tank commander. He was in the Vietnam War. He didn't really talk about a lot of his service, but I've had people come up and talk to me about some of the things that, you know, he did when he was in the military, you know, and how, you know, they treated, you know, they were doing like some of the experimentation on some of, you know, different shots or vaccines, and you know that was being experimented on. You know, it's kind of scary.
Well, you said, I think one time you said that you think that he was almost like some kind of like a science like experiment, like where like you thought that they might have injected him with reptilian DNA, right, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I had a meeting with Peter the Insider, and I you know, let him know who my father was and that I was looking for records, and if he had records, you know, that I was wanting to meet with him, because I at the time I was meeting with him regarding a lot of, you know, my files and my records in these programs. And that was like one of the things, you know, that he said he was like one of the first like you know, hybrid, you know, where they were using like different DNA. I don't know what they were doing, but you know, they didn't want to test any of these on their own people, so they were testing it on, you know, melanated people.
Yeah, yeah, that's sad. That's it's sad what they did to the kids at the res schools too. Like that's horrible. Like that they you said they were like mini like Epstein Island. That's horrible. Like let me ask you, like what was your reaction to the files? Like have you looked into them yet, or have you just been kind of following like what you hear, you know, or like I mean, there's like 3 million files, right? And then there's 3 million more that they haven't released, and then a lot of stuff's redacted. So it's like, you know, I haven't even actually seen the actual files yet. All the information I got has been from like, you know, podcasts. You know what I mean? I'm trusting other people to give me the information. You know.
I think there was like a version. I don't know if it was just like it was, you know, it came out in like 2020, I think 2020, 2019, around there. And you know, a lot of people weren't really looking at them, and a lot of the people that were talking about them, you know, me included, you know, people were saying some really horrible stuff to us, you know, calling us names and um you know, and I'm not out here like looking for an apology. I don't need an apology. You know, it's just like, you know, just if you don't have anything nice to say, then you know, I just don't say nothing to anybody.
Wait, what was happening?
You know?
Someone was calling you names. Who was doing that? Like what happened?
Oh, you know, just like I don't know. I didn't, you know, just random people, random accounts, you
Oh
know,
yeah, weirdos.
saying,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, like calling other people names that were coming forward with some of this information, you know, and not only that, but like some of the actual victims that were coming out at that time and were talking about it, and people were, you know, saying some really horrible stuff. You know, I'm just like, where's the compassion? I mean, that was like, you know, some of the prophecy for the Anishinaabe for the seven fires was that we were going to be given two options. We're going to be given two choices. Are we going to take the road that is big and wide, and you know, that's all about greed and power and money, you know, houses, cars, you know, all the things that the America says is the American dream. Well, it's not my dream. Or are you
Yeah.
going to take the road less traveled, the one that's narrow and small and kind of scary? But, you know, I mean, that's about working together, you know, unity, love, acceptance, compassion. You know, I mean, which one are you know, are we going to take care of this home that we have? You know, because this is the only place that we have right now. You don't see them saying, you know what, we're going to go and colonize another planet. You guys are safe. You know, we don't have that. You know, I mean, if we stop right now and start taking care of the earth, we can reverse that, you know, but nobody wants to. You know, so I mean, I am actually like looking into going and doing an internship with what they call eco farms. You know, these are the organic growing farms. They're using solar power. They're, you know, they're living with less of a digital imprint, and they're showing other people how to do it. So, you know, you come in when they're harvesting, they're canning, they're hunting, they're snaring, you know, how to dress an animal, um, how to prepare for winter, you know, what do you do? And then the next, you know, I wanted to stay until spring so that I could be there for the planting, you know, for spring planting, and learn everything that I can, you know, on top of what I already know, because, you know, you have to give back in these internships. You know, you have to be able to provide, you know, what can you bring to the table? You know, I was like, well, you know, I'm an Usuru Reiki master. I'm a shamanic practitioner. You know, I teach classes on, you know, lucid travel and shamanic travel. Um, I'm a life coach. You know, I mean, all these things that I can bring to help others. And, you know, I've come to the conclusion in doing a lot of my, you know, healing that I'm a survivor from, you know, being trafficked myself. You know, I mean, I was never like taken and abducted or taken from my family. I was treated a certain way by somebody that I trusted, you know, where they gave me, you know, mood altering substances, you know, and I had to live with that shame for a long time. But, you know, I let that go because I'm not ashamed. I'm still here. And
Yeah,
I'm here
and
for a
you're
reason.
thriving too. You know, you're thriving. You know, like you're an example of a powerful woman who's got amazing psychic and healing abilities. You know, I always say you're one of the best healers I know. You know, and you know, and I think for someone to get to that level, that you're at, you have to do a lot of work on yourself. You know what I mean? Like you, that just, I mean, obviously you have natural gifts too, but I think you had to refine your gifts as well, and you had to, you know, hone them and like, you know, practice. And, you know, like, so I think it shows a lot about like your abilities, shows a lot about what you are, you know, or who you are and stuff, you know. Yeah.
Excuse me, my coffee went down
Good
the
to
wrong
talk to.
tube. And so I wanted to like work with you know, people that have broken free from a lot of these types of circles, you know, that are the survivors. You know, because I mean, a lot of these people, the reason why they went missing was because they didn't have family members, you know, to keep an eye out for them. You know, they were lost in the system. They were orphans. You know, they didn't have anybody. You know, so when it came time to claim them, or when it came time to say, hey, you know, my loved one is missing, they didn't have that there. So that's why a lot of these people have been gone missing, and a lot of the missing and murdered Indigenous women, men, children, they've been going through the files and they've been searching for each name that has gone missing, and some of them they're coming up in the files. So now they're coming up with all this information that there are Indigenous people that who went missing are named in the files.
Wow.
And we
Holy
have
shit.
that little, she was in Arizona, last name was Pike. She was mentioned in the Epstein files. And why? You know, she was staying in a group home because, you know, she didn't have parents or anyone to take care of her. There was an elderly woman who could no longer care for her, and so she was placed in the system. And they actually came across her a couple of days before she went missing, or the day before she went missing, and the police didn't follow procedure, and she disappeared.
Wow, that's scary.
It is scary, and we need accountability.
That's like, yeah, like holy shit, like. I mean, like, and you know what it is it's like a lot of people were like, you know, like it's. I feel for those people who never made it back. You know, like who, like, you know, it's bad enough to be a victim. I mean, it's horrible to be a victim, right? It's like, you know, it's like you have to live with that for the rest of your life. But then some people, like, you know, I think we're finding out now that Epstein was like a stone cold killer. You know what I mean? He was like a butcherer. You know, and I believe he could still be alive somewhere. You know, butchering people in other countries. You know, like this is all speculation, you know what I mean? But like people said they saw pictures of him in Israel and Lebanon, you know, and it did look like him a little bit. And like I was like, man, I feel bad for those people over there because that psychopath probably just set up shop over there and he's probably doing the same thing in another country, to be honest, you know? And that's sad, you know, like because like I feel like these pedophiles get like, you know, I don't think it's protection, but like they don't get in trouble. You know what I mean? So what does that say about our society? You know, it's like it's really sad. You know,
It's broken. Everything. Justice, you know, I mean, I have an associate's degree in criminal justice. The criminal justice system is broken. Everything is broken. The fact that, you know, they try to, you know, at least say that, oh, there's two different parties. No, sir, there's not. You know, it's the, you know, the same bird with two different wings, you know, 1, 2. I mean, that's what it is. It's just, yeah. I mean, I've actually got into what I thought was a fake account, which I thought was a bot on Instagram. And it turned out, you know, it was an actual person. And they were calling me all these names. And, you know, that doesn't, you can't really, you know, you can't get me upset, you know, by calling me different names. He was calling me Miss Piggy. He was calling me a liberal. I don't really know what any of that means. You know, I don't know. I don't pay attention. I'm not, you know, when I hear people that like iterate this type of speech where they're pointing fingers at people and naming them some sort of a political party, you know, is that an insult? I mean, I guess I don't really understand that, you know, that I didn't grow up with that, you know, I mean, to me, that just shows severe programming. Yeah. You know, to say you're pro this, pro that, you know, and you put out a big list of things that you support. What does that mean? You know, I mean, does that mean that, you know, if I don't agree with you, we're going outside and throwing down? I mean, what does that mean? You know,
yeah, you touched on something. I think this is so important right now. I think for our society to heal collectively from all this stuff that's going through is like we need to get past this division shit. You know what I mean? And we need to have more conversations like this where like I don't know if you and I have opposing views, but like, you know, we never really got to that point, and I wouldn't care if we did. You're still my friend, but that's how I look at you. You know what I mean? But like, you know, like other people aren't that way. Like if you, it's like weird. Some people are like, if you disagree with them, that's like, that's it. They're done with, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's like, there can be no more discussing it. I'm like, wow, this is absolutely insane. I'm like, this is what politics is doing to our world. And that's why I hate politics, because like it absolutely throws like, you know, wrenches into relationships and friendships and, you know, co-workerships and all that stuff. You know, it's like, it's so detrimental, you know, and like you said, two birds of the feather fly together, or how, you know what I'm trying to say. Like they're all the same, you know.
Well, you know, that's the thing is, you know, I mean, I have lots of friends that are friends with people that I'm no longer friends with. You know, I don't ever go to these people and be like, you know what, you need to get so and so off your friends list, or you and I can say goodbye. You know, yeah. If I were to say that to any of my friends, you know, they would just look at me like, you know, because that's not me. You know, I mean, I'm confident enough that, you know, if so and so is your friend, but they're not my friend because they stepped on my boundaries, that doesn't mean that they're stepping on your boundaries. You know, it's not up to me to make everybody in the world turn on somebody. I mean, that's kind of, you know, immature thinking. You know, to be like, I can get everybody in the whole world mad at you. You know, why? You know, that doesn't make any sense to me. You know, it's like, I wouldn't do that to anybody else. Why would, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just shows, moving past, being responsible, um, allowing other people to like people who they're gonna like. Just
Yeah.
because this person did something to you, or you feel some type of way, that doesn't mean that they're not the best of friends. I don't know.
Yeah. We have about 30 minutes left. I mean, we've been going an hour though, but I wanted to ask you. You said you wanted to do something for the audience too, like a heal, something with healing. Like, I don't know what you had in mind, but like I didn't want to forget about that. Like,
No, I was like wondering, because I didn't know if we were gonna have enough people to do it, but I was like going to do like a giveaway. I have like the healing, the Usuru Reiki healing, which a lot of people have either have never heard of, or heard of it, or have tried it, or would like to try it. I am an avid collector of oracle cards. If you'd like a reading, you'd like an intuitive reading, you would like to have me introduce you to like some of the shamanic animals that are your animal helpers. I guess that there's a lot that there's a lot that I do. So, I mean, this was just something that I wanted to do because, everybody was being so nice to me today, and, sending me messages and stuff. And I didn't want to say, be like, yeah, I don't celebrate my birthday anymore, so I was just like, thank you, Meek Witch, thank you, for all the lovely thoughts and well wishes for my new year eve. Which is, we should be looking at that. We should be looking at, our year starting on the day that we were born till the next year, and, growing and becoming, a better person every year. I mean, if we were to become a better person every year, you imagine, so I mean, it was like this year I wanted to be able to give something back, and do something. I mean, if you haven't experienced Reiki before, or maybe you have pressing questions, there's a long list of things that I do that I'd like to be able to give something back for somebody, like one of your viewers. And I also added my Rumble show, so they have my viewers, and we're all kind of just jam packed in here. I'd like to be able to give something away, and then whoever wins this will also be just to something that they wanted. Something I wanted to just do something nice for somebody. That's basically it.
that's cool. I love it. Yeah. I mean, how should we do it? Should we just like randomly pick someone, or should we like have people draw numbers, or?
Is there like certain how many, does it tell you how many people are in the chat?
It says we have a 29 on YouTube. I don't know how many are on Rumble, and then a couple on Facebook. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can do like pick a number 1 through 100, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay. Yeah.
And then,
you
get like
okay,
a certain. If we get too many, then we'll just do that again for that group, and until we get like one person. I guess. I don't know. I didn't think about this because I was like, how are we gonna do this? I was gonna like put them all in a hat, and I was like, but they're everybody's hopping in and out. I was like, I didn't know what to do. Okay, so I have a number, and I'll send that to Rob, and then he can look and be like when he sees somebody that has it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
I'm
So
emailing you the number, or I'm sending you on Messenger the number.
Okay. This is so cool.
1 through 100. I gave you the number.
Oh my God! Someone's already very close. Someone's like, I'll give it some time though.
Yeah, we'll give it another minute or two, and whoever comes up with a number exactly right on will win. That healing package, or the tarot package, or the intuitive reading or shamanic package, something.
Yeah.
So just let me know when you see it, and then we'll just like stop the press. That's it.
We got
I haven't seen it yet.
Linda Winger says 17. James Wickett says 26. Caleb Canham says 33. Danny says 33. Jay's just waking up says 22. High Vibe says 63.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
James Whitkiss 4457.
Yeah.
So James,
He
you
won.
picked the number. That was the number, right? I sent it to Rob. So
Yeah, he's a good guy to give it to too. He's a very open and he's a very open minded and articulate person. He's really cool. You know,
amazing.
I'm glad he won. I think they're all cool. That everybody deserves, but like, and
Mhm.
I'm glad he got it. That's cool. Like, yeah, like, so congratulations, James. That's awesome.
Yay! I'm so excited for you. So just like think about what you'd like if you wanted to reach out. Um, can you put my email in here? Let me see if I can put it in
Yeah,
here. I don't think it's
I'll
gonna let
type
me.
it in.
And that's
Remove
Thunderbird Circle at Yahoo.
Thunderbird Circle at yahoo.com. Let me
Yeah,
see.
I'm gonna make sure that's the right one.
Circle.
I never know. I never know. So just James, reach out. He's gonna give you the email. And reach out to me. We'll talk. We'll discuss if you need to kind of go. Well, what is this? What does this entail? What do you need? If you have any questions, we can go through that. Yeah, Thunderbird Circle at yahoo.com.
And guys, Eve is literally one of the best healers I know. I'm not just saying that because you're here. Like she really is. She's levels above. There's definitely like when people say there's levels to this stuff. She's definitely levels above most people. If not, yeah, like she's definitely like one of the best healers I know for sure. Like, um, yeah. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see if I have any other questions for you. So. Oh, let me see here. How about this? If anybody in the audience has a question or two, we still have a couple minutes. Like,
Yeah.
if anybody wants to ask a question, put your question in the chat. You can ask Eve about Reiki, her Ojibwe background, SSP, ancestral healing, birthdays, multidimensional healing, energy work, spirituality, psychic readings, tarot,
Shamanic journey. That's always an interesting one. I mean,
astral.
yeah, astral travel, lucid travel. I mean, these are some of the things that I've been, wanting to teach people to do because, it to me it's just a level of freedom, to release the chains, that are keeping us in this realm for right now, but to be able to do you know, the things that you can do when you're lucid traveling.
I wanted to say this, show you this. So Danny Hawk agrees with you on the birthday thing. She says, I put it up on the screen. She says, I'm with Eve on the whole birthday thing. She says, I'm subscribing to getting younger.
Yes. It's like I just feel like it's too ritualized. I don't know, and then you get like these shiny gifts. It's almost like a offering. What are you giving me an offering for? I mean, that's why I wanted to give away something, a present for somebody else on, this day, that supposedly my special day. But I mean, I wanted to get back. So, I'm going to be doing this on a totally different level every year, but I just needed to try it,
This is from CJ. He says, how do you make astral travel easier? Is it possible for it to be easy, or is it like always like,
for astral travel or for lucid travel, they're kind of a little bit different. With the astral travel, there are like certain things that you can do. I eliminate caffeine in the later part of your day. Going to bed on an empty stomach makes it a little bit easier. And also, when you astral travel, and my medicine man also told me this too, you have to have protection, for when you're traveling. So what I usually do is I have like this little prayer that I do every night, that I have watch over, protectors watch over my family members and go with me into the astral to, watch over me, protect me, make sure that I make it back to my body in the morning, and it's just almost like now it's like second nature. I just do it before I go to bed. I put up protectors and warriors that would go with me and, make sure to keep me safe and watch over our bodies, especially here, because it's very important to have that somebody watching, watching your six, because, I've been jumped. I've been jumped by things in the astral and had my physical body, attacked. So, if you're not well versed on how to protect yourself when things like that happen, it can be very, very, very scary, especially if it's, an ongoing thing or if it's never happened before.
Yeah.
So I deal a lot with protecting, teaching others how to protect themselves when they want to do this type of travel. I kind of get a little irritated with some of these plastic, shaman Reiki master websites that are going to teach you how to, do this with 99 cents. Okay, come on. I mean, come on. Because I was telling somebody, I teach the shamanic practitioner, not journey. Teaching others, it's a long process for me to go through all of the people and kind of talk to them and interview them, because there are certain signs there that I have to be able to see if they can do the work, because you're either born into it, or you were born to it. It's not something that you can just go and get a piece of paper and hang on your wall. This is something that you have to live, from experiencing other people's pain, experiencing other people's transitions. So when they pass on, I had to experience that. And also at one point, not everybody has to do this, but if you had an NDE and you were gone and you came back, that's also another kind of test for this, to be a practitioner. You have to be able to, travel the spirit world and show no fear, because there's nothing to fear. I keep trying to help people this, and they're always like doom scrolling, and it's just like there's nothing to fear. We are eternal energy that cannot be destroyed. And they're like, well, how do you know? Because it's science. Energy cannot be destroyed, and that's what we are. We are light beings. We are here to grow our soul because we have disconnected from source. And now we are trying to learn to reconnect. And a lot of us, I've been told by someone that I was, I incarnated as an indigenous person. At one point I was even a chief, many times over, because they're like, you like being indigenous, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I guess, I'm not against it. I love it. There's so many beautiful gifts, as long as you're willing to remain, that open-minded person and, can see the programming that we have to go through as children here, where, they're told it's just our imagination, and it's not our imagination. It's definitely not our imagination.
Yeah, I agree. Well, this has been fascinating. I guess we could finish up now. But yeah, is there anything else you wanted to cover before we go, or this was
No, I am like transitioning my business right now. So I apologize if you go to it's Rising Spirit on Facebook, and you'll see an announcement that I'm in the middle of transitioning. So a lot of the prices will be changing as effective on March 1st. Excuse me, just keep hiccuping. And I'm also signing on with a different company that is going to help me set up like everything that I'm going to need for my own business. So I apologize if you go to the Rising Spirit and there's a lot of construction going on, and I don't get back to you right away. I apologize. Robert put my email in the comment section. If you have to reach out to me, and we're able to get an ancestral reading or healing set up. And I'm doing this all myself right now, so I mean it's all better price, but I mean once I sign with this other place, the prices are going to go up about, I think it's like $30, $25 to $30 a piece. So unfortunately, that's what is happening when you have to pay for everything when you start your own business.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
have to pay for the website, and it's fees upon fees upon fees. Like, one thing I hate, like, and I don't even have my own website, but like, I run basically my own business, and I know what you mean. Like, I have so many subscriptions that, like, like I it seems like every time I look, there's another automatic charge coming out of my account. I hate those automatic charges.
Oh,
It's
I
like
know.
everybody wants to sign up for an automatic charge nowadays. It's like,
Why can't they all just take it out on one day? It's
yeah,
like, oh, so
exactly.
you think you're good, and then I was like, oh no, I forgot about that one. And this is for Linda. Linda, so she said, I have been told that I was a loved and revered healer in another lifetime. Yes, just looking at your name, Linda, and the light. That's true. What else was I going to say? Gosh, sometimes I my dimensional thinking kind of is all over the place. My ADD. I was said that I had I
Yeah.
came here with so many issues. I have anxiety. They were testing me for epilepsy, and it turned out that that was just one of my. It wasn't epilepsy. It was like something that was very similar to that, but it was almost like an ability that was coming through, and it was causing me to see the lights flickering and stuff, and I would see eye disturbances, and um almost like kind of like when you have like muscular and you get a muscle cramp type thing,
Yeah.
and that type of thing. But when I do that, I'm able to I don't even know if there's a word for it, but I can bring people into my dreams. I
Wow.
can, I bring them with me. I did that once because I was like, the first time it happened, it totally freaked me out, and I ended up bringing somebody with me. And then I was walking around going, this is such a weird place. And like where we woke up, I was like, we were talking about, do you know where we are? And we're like, no, and it was like, I come out on the patio, and I'm looking, and I see this plastic owl, and I realize, oh, this is just a simulated, test.
Yeah.
So I ended up having like another episode. It wasn't exactly a seizure, but I did fall to the floor, and I was like kind of convulsing, and I couldn't control my body, my muscular system. So it was just like all contorted. And my friend came over, and the minute that they touched me, they were teleported back and woke up.
Holy shit.
And I had complete memories, because I mean that's how I brought him with me, and then how I sent him back. So it wasn't exactly epilepsy. It wasn't coming across as having neurological issues. It was something different, but I don't really know, because everybody that I've asked doesn't really know exactly what I'm talking about, or doesn't have the knowledge. So if anybody has any of the knowledge, don't gatekeep. Hit me up. We'll talk about it, because yeah, I'd like to be able to kind of work on that. Because I mean, if it's like some sort of weird travel of some type, or bringing people into my dreams, and I've had people where I've like dreamt about them, and I hadn't talked to him in years. And usually within 24 to 48 hours, they'll call me and be like, you know what? I had a dream about you. And I was like, oh, seriously? Oh my God. So did I. I had a dream about you. That's so weird. Now it's not looking so weird. It's looking like it's something that I haven't quite developed yet, or learned how to develop it.
Hey, did you? I'll just ask you this before we go, real quick. Do you ever get into that mall world? Like, like I've covered it before, where like these people are having these experiences where well, here's what I deduced that, like, like, it's somebody told me that it's a construct. You know what I mean? Like, people are,
Yes.
like, a lot of young kids are having these experiences. But then what I did was I tied it into, well, I didn't. James Bartley actually did. He talked about how a lot of alien abductees in my labs find themselves in a mall sometimes too, like in these abduction experiences. But it's weird and it's like an endless mall, and it's like an
Mhm.
astral. Like, have you been to this place, and are you in your
Oh
astral
yeah.
body?
Yeah, I did a show. I can't remember. I think it was like episode 67, I think. And we did an episode on Mall World. And what it is it's like to us it was a liminal space, where you
Yeah.
can do like training exercises where the rules don't apply, uh because I know in like the malls that I've been in, they've had some really strange walkways that reminded me of like Harry Potter movie where the dormitory walkways are moving and you got to like hang on as it's swinging this way. Um and then having this airport that's attached to the mall. I mean, we did like this whole series on it. We wanted to do a part 2, but we wanted to have some people come on and talk about it, and some people just weren't. I understand. It's takes a lot of courage to come out and talk about these things. So definitely, I don't look down at anybody that was like, no, I can't do it. I mean, I was in that boat at one point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, this was awesome, Eve. I guess, I guess we'll finish up here. And do you want to tell people anything one more time, like before you go, like where to follow it, and anything you want to promote? And thank you.
Yes, thank you. If you get a chance, come on over to Rumble, look up Prime Declassified podcast, and subscribe, like, follow. We've got our next guest coming up on the 8th. I think is it not this weekend? Next weekend is Terry J, and she is a animal healer, telepath, so she can communicate with animals. She is amazing. We had like a little meeting with her, me and Luca, and she was just so cool. Like, she suggested that I find someone who does QHHT with life recession, because she said that at one point I was a indigenous chief, which lines up with a lot of the visions that I've had in the last couple of years. So, if you get a chance, go to Rumble. I'm on Facebook, Eve Thunder Howard. Prime Declassified is on Facebook, TikTok, IG. You can look me up, Evie Schmeevy. Usually I'm on everything under that weird name. Let's see what else. That's about it. Just transitioning right now. Scheduling. I did see Karen McDonald in here. I'm sorry, Karen. We are like scheduling way out into the very end of spring in the beginning of summer. So I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And what else? That is it, guys. Thanks for having me. I mean, this is I like to call it the name day, or the New Year Eve, or new year, new me. I don't want to call it birthday anymore, because they don't have any right to rob me of my youth and my time here. I'm 53 years old. I don't dye my hair. I have no grays. I'm very lucky when it comes to wrinkles. So either it's hereditary, or it's because of all the times that they recess me back and they send me back has kept me young. But I'm not obsessed with it, and I don't want plastic surgery.
I think ethnic people, we look different. I think we look better. I think our genes are help. Because I mean, I have different genes than you, but I'm ethnic. You know what I mean? It seems like I don't know, like it's like there's something about like ethnic genes, like that, I don't know. We have good genes. I'm knock on wood. I don't want anything bad to happen to me. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, but I don't have a gray either yet. Like I'm like. Actually, I had one. I looked in the mirror the other day and I saw one popping out, and I about flipped out. I was like, "Holy shit!" But I mean, I'll let it come gracefully. I'm not,
Yeah, I'm definitely aging. I'm happy with it. I don't know if it was like the hybrid in me, but like I think it's like every 3 or 4 winters, I like slough off a layer of skin. It's almost like a weird molting. So I don't know if that's like the reptilian in me, but I'm definitely not one of them psychotic draconian reptilians. I am all about, humanity and doing the right things, and being the right type of person, that if I was a full-time human being, in this world, in this lifetime, that I would do everything that I could in my power to help everybody else. So
Awesome. Yeah.
lots of love, everybody.
And
As
yeah,
as
guys,
I can't be with reptilian women. No, yeah, we're definitely a breed of our own. Most definitely. Got to be a strong person.
I love that. And guys, even though I'm sick, I got 2 more shows tonight, so I will be live in 3 minutes on another show, and then at 9 p.m. Eastern too. But yeah, yeah, thank you so much, Eve. Like, you're a really good friend, and I cherish our friendship.
Yeah.
And
do a little healing for you.
All right, thank you. All right, thanks, guys, and I'll see everybody.